football thing. So it didn't surprise me that Steve is moving on. Let's just say that. I was asked about it last week. Do you think Steve's moving on? I said, yeah, I absolutely think Steve's moving on. One, just because I don't think Kyle's really happy. Two, because was what I said. I don't think the coverage matched the plan up front, and that's like the prerequisite for the job. Is your coverage, whatever you're doing up front, it's got to match what you're doing on the back end. You can't take all these chances up front and have a soft back end. And there was times this year where they did that. What happened?
I said pause.
Pause what?
Oh, you said you can't have a soft back end.
Oh, I got you. Well, but you know what I'm saying? You can't
continue. You good?
You can't have a situation where you're playing loose coverage, off man coverage, and giving room up front, and then trying to speed up the quarterback. I mean, the ball's going to come out, and guess what? It's going to be completed, and that's what happened in that Cincinnati game. They literally brought heat on Burrow and played soft coverage behind, and he just played pitch and catch with his receivers all day, and it was like I've never seen. It was like no resistance at all from the defense. So I don't know. Wilks is obviously a big topic this week.
Let me just ask you this, because you love to do the hypotheticals.
Yeah.
If I would have told you that the Niners going into the Super Bowl, we're going to hold Patrick Mahomes to 19 points regulation.
Yeah, but it's not.
Don't let me finish. Don't let me. Come on.
But I hear you. I hear you, Coach. But it's not about the Super Bowl.
Why can't I finish?
You're just making it a referendum. I'm saying don't make it.
All I'm saying is this. Let me just.
Can
I finish?
Go ahead.
Can I finish?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to say, but go ahead.
All right. That's fine. 2 turnovers, holding Patrick Mahomes to 19 points in regulation, without Dre Greenlaw for the majority of the game. Would you say the defense did their job?
In the Super Bowl, yes, I would.
All right.
My point is he's not getting dumped because of the Super Bowl. And if people think he is, they're wrong. He's getting dumped because he's getting dumped because the front didn't match the back end. And also because last year they were number 1 in defense, and this year they're number 12 in defense. Last year they were 4th in offense. This year they're 1st in offense. Last year they were number 1 in defense. This year they're number 12 in defense. This year they didn't stop the run. Now, I don't blame Wilks for not stopping the run. I really don't. You and I.
He didn't have the guys here to stop the run. Like, we're forgetting about the fact that we went and got. We had to go get Chase Young. We had to go get Randy Gregory. We had to go get Sebastian Joseph Day. We're forgetting the fact that Eric Armstead was out for a considerable amount of time. We're forgetting about the fact where regularly, week to week, we were wondering if Javon Hargrave was even worth being on the field in the first 2 downs of the game. Like, that's facts. Like, a lot of this was on these players, man. A lot of it was on these guys.
Their run D was bad. But
it
was personnel related, I thought. I wouldn't put that on Steve. But it was clear that Shanahan didn't have a trust in him. And I know Shanahan made a big deal about, he came from outside. I don't think that matters. I really don't. I mean, Steve had credentials. He's done it before. He's been a head coach. He's been a coordinator.
It's just funny to me how we where the ire decides to focus itself. That's all. I mean, and for me, for me personally, if the players don't want Coach Wilks, then he's got to go. Full stop for me. So I'm not mad that he's gone. All right. If the players don't want him, then there's no point of having him in the building. All right. So I'm not mad at that. My issue is that the way he got fired, it made it seem like from the outside looking in that he is the reason why we lost. And it looked like the sacrificial lamb for a loss that we should have won Everybody believes that we should have won that game. It feels like that was the penance paid, that Wilks had to go. And for me, I think that's disingenuous because from a coaching staff, there's plenty of blame to go around, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They got outcoached. That offensive line got outplayed and outcoached. Kyle Shanahan got outcoached. Deebo Samuel got shut down and outplayed. Those are facts. And those are the things that nobody wants to talk about because we've been waiting to get rid of Wilks for his blunders throughout the year, which can be true. That can be a discussion, but I just think that it's very coincidental that that seems to be the top of discussion when our genius head coach pretty much laid down one of the worst coaching performances in NFL, in the NFL Super Bowl, and he's blown his second Super Bowl. So I just kind of feel like it's kind of funny that we're talking about Coach Wilks, and then honestly, it's almost does the narrative good because then it is the scapegoat debate. But I don't care about it being a scapegoat. He's gone. Get him out of here. What conversation are we willing to have for the offense? Honestly.
I mean, don't be surprised.
They're the ones who scored 19 points regulation. So if we wanted to, I'll concede to Wilks should be gone. The team didn't believe in him. Our biggest players that are leaders on this team didn't believe in him. He's got to go. Cool. He's out of here. Now, what are you going to say about our offense putting up 19 points? What are you going to say about the first 3 drives of the second half where we pass the ball 9 out of 10 times and we go away from the run game? What are you going to say about Deebo Samuel coming in here saying that he had the worst season and that he was going to step his game up and he flopped? He could not get open. Like, why are we thinking like there's not real conversations to be had on this team? But we want to sit here and talk about Coach Wilks.
And well, he's the one that got fired.
And that's my point, because he's the one that got fired.
But it shouldn't be a surprise.
Conversation is lying because nobody wants to talk about how Kyle got out coached. He got embarrassed, and then he lied. He lied about knowing what he had to do on OT, and then it comes out that the players didn't even know what was going on. But nobody wants to have that discussion. I saw somebody with over 70,000 subscribers on YouTube get on and say Kyle Shanahan doesn't deserve to be held accountable. How can you hold him accountable? You're scared. You're scared.
Don't point at me.
Right. It ain't right.
Yeah, I know you ain't talking about me. I don't know who said that, but as far as none of this should be surprising because Shanahan has never – we talked about this the other day. We talked about this going into the game. I said if the 49ers fall short, who will be blamed? I knew it. We both knew it wasn't going to be Shanahan. Shanahan was not going to blame himself for losing to Kansas City. It would have went
a long way if he did. It would have went a long way. Kyle, you're not going anywhere, Kyle. Like, that's what's so confusing about him not taking accountability. It ain't like you're going to get fired. It ain't like Jed is going to let you go. What's the problem with just being honest? Like, yeah, man. We caused some things up front that just didn't go our way. We messed up on offense. You know, Deebo, I put out a game plan for Deebo where we tried to single him out. We should have got Brandon invited. It's like, dude, don't gaslight the situation like everything is just perfect, man. Like, that's disingenuous, man.
Well, but it's
insulting, honestly. It's insulting.
I can't get exercise because it's not surprising. I never expected to see him come out and blame himself. It's not his way. He doesn't do it. You know, I mean, the rest of us can point out the obvious blunder in overtime. You know, Kansas City gave up 17 points a game in the regular season. The Niners scored 22? So they scored a little bit over what they would typically score. A game went overtime, so that also factors in. But I mean, it wasn't a great offensive performance. I didn't love the plan. I agree. Shanahan needs to be criticized for the third quarter 3 and outs where they ran 9 plays and 8 of them were passes, and you got one of the best running backs in pro football sitting right there, and you couldn't get a first down for 3 straight drives in the third quarter. I mean, to me, that's my biggest. That's
where you lost the game, quite honestly. Those 3 squandered drives, like that's the part that kind of just blows me away. Like, we scored we had -2 yards in those 3 drives combined.
I know.
That's malfeasance, man.
Well, and you're not going to
blow those drives away.
you're not going to beat Mahomes in the fourth. Come on. I mean, you're not. I mean, this is where
You're
the guy.
not.
So you had to beat him in the third.
You got to get him in the third.